The strange case of the Great Mull Air Mystery. The Great Mull Air Mystery refers to a bizarre unsolved case in which pilot Peter Gibbs disappeared along with his plane on the Isle of Mull on December 24, 1975, and the strange events that followed. The case has never been solved and there's no solid theories as to what happened. Norman Peter Gibbs was born in 1920 and had flown with the RAF as a Spitfire pilot with the number 41 Squadron, serving between January 1944 and March 1945. In June 1957 he joined the Surrey Flying Club and flew regularly for the next 18 years, holding a private pilot's license with more than 2,000 hours of experience. In later life, he became the managing director of a property company called Gibbs & Ray. On Saturday, December 20, 1975, Peter traveled by ferry to the Isle of Mull in the Inner Hebrides of Scotland, as he was interested in buying a hotel there. He was accompanied by his girlfriend, Felicity Granger. Peter was using the Glenforsa Hotel as his base, as the hotel had a 780m airstrip that made it useful for flying between the various islands. At this stage the airstrip was grass and had no lights. Peter had hired a red and white Cessna F-150H aircraft with registration GVTN from the hotel manager, David Howitt, during his stay. Peter's license had actually expired prior to this trip, but he told the plane's owner that he had simply left it at home. On December 24th, Peter and his girlfriend flew to Broadford on the Isle of Skye, where they spent the day viewing properties. After returning to Mull later that day, they had dinner at the hotel where it was seen that Peter drank a lot of whiskey and/or red wine. Unexpectedly, Peter decided that he wanted to go for a solo flight despite being in an intoxicated state. It's alleged that he borrowed 2 powerful torches which he gave to his girlfriend so that she could guide him in on the otherwise dark runway. Guests at the hotel stated afterwards that Peter had sat on the runway for an unusually long time and that he'd been flicking the plane's lights on and off again, several times. Regardless, Peter took off from the unlit runway on a moonless night, and the plane then disappeared behind a line of trees. After 10 minutes, realizing that Peter hadn't returned and that there was no sign of the plane, hotel manager David Howitt began to panic, thinking that the plane had crashed. He headed out in his car to comb the area but found no trace of the aircraft. An extended organized search was conducted over the holiday period but absolutely no sign of Peter or the plane was found and eventually the search was called off. In April 1976, for months after Peter's disappearance, a local shepherd called Donald McKinnon discovered Peter's body about 1 mile from the airfield. He was discovered partway up a remote hillside, lying across a fallen large tree, very close to the road. The body was so decomposed that only clothing was holding it together, and it was facing a direction that suggested Peter had been walking downhill. The body was taken to Glasgow for a proper autopsy, but strangely, Peter's remains gave absolutely no clue as to how he died. There were only very minor injuries found and absolutely nothing consistent with a fall from height, nor any evidence that he had died elsewhere and been placed there. This was particularly curious, as the search party had covered the exact area in which he was found and had uncovered nothing. Forensic testing also showed absolutely no salt or marine life anywhere on his clothing or in his boots. The final pathologist's report stated that the condition of the body was entirely consistent with lying out there for a period of 4 months, and his cause of death was simply marked as exposure, in the absence of any other evidence. The discovery of the body sparked a new search for the plane's wreckage in the area, combing land, woods and lochs, but to no avail. In September 1986, a clam diver searching for scallops off the coast of Oban reported finding a small plane with both wings missing that he felt could have been Peter's plane. In February 2004, minesweepers that were conducting a coastal mapping operation off the coast of Oban found a plane approximately 30 m underwater. When they sent a ROV down to get footage, it was revealed that the plane only had 1 wing, the windscreen was missing and both doors were locked. It was theorized that it could have been Peter's plane, but the aircraft yielded absolutely no clues as to how it got there, and so this was never officially confirmed. As of today, it's still entirely unknown how Peter's body ended up on that hill, how he died or where his aircraft went.